What's going on, world? Y'all make sure y'all come in the room. Make sure y'all pull up. Yeah, man. Y'all make sure y'all pull up. What's going on, Tino? What's good, man? Santino Corleone, 850 in the building. I will be on running some duty directly after this podcast, man. Directly after this. Listen, I'm trying to get more people in right now. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, it says it's the Pro Wrestling Connoisseurs Podcast. That's right. I am one half of the Pro Wrestling Connoisseur. I am the one and only Mr. Cooper. My partner is away handling business right now as we speak. So if you are a wrestling fan, if you are a pro wrestling fan, come into the room, share this out. Last night was a historical night for professional wrestling as a whole, mainly in the WWE. And I'm going to go over these things. I have a special sponsor sponsoring this particular show. That is Kayfabe Clothing. That's right, Kayfabe Clothing. As you can see, that's the babyface shirt. You know what I'm saying? The babyface. Look at the halo. Look at the lucha mask. That's right. Shout out to Kayfabe Clothing Company. Dante, what's good, brother? Yeah, man. So y'all come on in and we'll get started. As I take a sip of this coffee, as I take me a nice little sip, I will make sure we get started, man. And what better way to get started than a song that you all may have not heard before, because I do play music on here. I am going to put on a song by T-Pain that he made back, I want to say back in 2012. And one of my homies that was alive back then, rest in peace, JT Hollywood, if you will, he ended up having a verse on one of these songs, and I found it on YouTube, and I'm going to play it right now as I take a sip of this coffee and get ready to talk to you. The song is entitled Motivated.
Stop talking. Better watch the way you talk to my client. Homie, stop walking. Wait a minute, will a nigga really get it if I go off? I gotta prove it to him. I think I'm Big Meat, Larry Hoover. I'm trying to eat, you trying to sleep. If you a dog, then I'm a beast and the beat goes. I know you hate it. Here go my motivation, bruh. I'm with my dogs.
Hey, listen to my dog.
Nigga, fuck y'all and the beat goes. Let me get you motivated. My money ain't right, my bills are due. I'm in a situation that I will not lose. I'm a gladiator, that's meaning big dog. You rap small bucks, I don't see none of y'all. Here's my motivation. Seem like you wanna lose weight, get a grind to get that cake. Give a damn what the haters say. Homeboy, I seen the bottom, now I'm starting to see the top. Mr. Rangers basketball. the shit. Swear I lost some screws by the way that I be killing it. Monster, monster, yes I'm a monster. You can see it in my eyes, I am destined to conquer. With a flow like this and a sway like that, I don't think these goofies can resist. Fire hot, burning hot, I'm fresh up out the oven, bitch. 360 will be the click. Navy boy, I'm feeling this. Here's a lesson to be learned, we motivated in this
I'm trying to eat, you trying to sleep. If you a dog, then I'm a beast and the beat goes. I know you hate it. Here go my motivation, bruh. I'm with my dogs. Fuck us all, nigga. Fuck y'all and the beat goes. If you know they hate it, let me get you motivated.
That was Motivated by the one and only T-Pain, featuring my homie, my brother, Mr. Hollywood. Man, that song did so much for me in the process of watching him create that verse. For those of y'all that don't know, that particular song, I believe at the time, Payne dropped the verse and left the open verse for people to get on. I guess he was picking the best version of it. And even though my boy was not picked, I do believe he had the best version, and I wanted you all to hear that, being that I had just found it floating around on YouTube of all places, man. So shouts out to everybody that's motivated this morning. Man, I did not want to waste time because there's so much footage out right now. People have done so many reactions to what took place on last night. And for those of you all that don't know fully or under a rock, WWE has partnered with Netflix, the biggest professional wrestling company in the world, has partnered with the biggest streaming service in the world. Last night, people had expectations. People were wondering how it was going to show, how it was going to pop up, how it was going to be displayed, and they did not disappoint. If you're a true wrestling fan, WWE fan, you know WWE does not hold or put on crappy shows. Like, they put together a great show last night, working hand in hand with Netflix. I think my only concern to watching it was, man, I hope that shit don't be buffering like it did for that Jake Paul Tyson fight. Like, I was like, man, if that shit get to buffering, it is over. Ain't nobody watching this shit. But I quickly thought that, WWE is too big of a conglomerate to even be held to those standards. You know what I'm saying? And for those of y'all that don't know, last night they made history. In one night, WWE was displayed across the globe on a major platform. It's one thing to be displayed on a cable network or on a cable station where you get a limited amount of eyes on your product. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just doing regular Xfinity, or you on the USA Network like it was previously on, and things of that nature. But it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different beast when you on Netflix. You got eyes that have, quite frankly, probably never seen your product. You know what I'm saying? Eyes that have probably never took a look at your product. You know what I'm saying? And they did that in one fell swoop. You know what I'm saying? They opened up with a nice package of last night, and of course the leader of the pack, the man that's running the show, Triple H, opened the show. They were in LA in the Intuit Arena. They were in LA, and Triple H opened the show, and you can see the happiness of stepping into this new era, stepping in this new light of what wrestling is. And let's just face it, let's just call a spade, guys. If you were a wrestling fan back then, you were laughed at. If you were a wrestling fan back then, you know what I mean, you were looked down upon, like, oh man, that F shit, because in this community we don't use the word fake. But wrestling has become mainstream in a different way again. It was mainstream back then. It was mainstream back in the late 80s. You know what I mean? Early 80s, late 80s. It was mainstream on a huge pop culture scale in the 90s. I'm pretty sure some of y'all remember the Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin, D-Generation X. I know half of y'all, even if you didn't watch wrestling, y'all was in y'all school getting in trouble. You was at home getting in trouble because you either told your mama, you either told the teacher, you either told somebody to suck it. Yeah, I know you did. Even if you don't want to admit it, I know you did. You know you did. You know what I'm saying? And everybody knows The Rock. That's right. Everybody knew The Rock. I ain't talking about The Rock you see right now. I'm talking about The Rock with the fade. Rock had the high top. Rock was looking like a swole version of Kid and Play. You know what I'm saying? He had the high top. Everybody knew Know Your Role, Shut Your Mouth. Everybody knew you was going to the SmackDown Hotel. Everybody knew these things. They turned it into a pop culture phenomenon. And back then, they made so much money. They were doing their thing. Fast forward to I say probably the last 4 years in WWE. The last 4 years, professional wrestling has been put on the back of one Roman Reigns, the longest reigning WWE champion in the modern era. The man has led the ship into coming into these $1 billion deals, the billion with a B, $1 billion deals that's been displayed and brought forth under his reign as champion. That's the difference. If you look down, it says Pro Wrestling Connoisseurs Podcast. Myself and my partner, Blaze Hunter, we are pro wrestling connoisseurs, meaning we don't just look at it from a fan's perspective. We don't just look at it from the perspective. Hey, we don't just look at it from the perspective of, this is my daughter, y'all. We don't just look at it from the perspective of, oh man, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who's winning, who's losing. Nah, I look at it from the standpoint of, look at the money that's being made. Look at the money circulating. Everybody in pro wrestling right now is eating, and they eating well. You know what I'm saying? Which is why myself and my partner are in the know. We are in the community. If you go on my page, if you go on here, you'll see me. You'll see my partner. You'll see the recent events that we've been at. You know, on the independent scene, you'll see the recent events that we've been covering. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, shouts out to BRCW, Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. Shouts out to CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. Man, so again, I digress. Let me get back to the topic. Money was being made, guys. Money was continuously being made. And I believe last night, no different. Last night, they made a statement. Last night, it was something spectacular that took place. So, like I said, last night, Triple H started it off. He gave the speech, started it off. And if you look at the camera work, go back. You can watch it on Netflix now. You should be able to go and pull it up on Netflix and watch what happened. Man, they got drones in there now for the camera work. You know what I'm saying? The camera work was off the charts. You know what I mean? So after he did the opening, myself, I'm watching it with my daughter, watching it with my wife, and the first person to come out, we were like, I bet you it's gonna be The Rock. That's what we were saying. We were saying it was just, it couldn't have been no one else to do it. And lo and behold, that's exactly who came out. The Rock. The Rock came out, and he was The Rock, but he was Dwayne in that moment. And I want to take this time to kind of point out the significance of that moment, and also shout out and pay homage to the Anawahi Fatu, the entire Samoan lineage and legacy. That entire family has shown that they are at the top of the food chain when it comes to pro wrestling. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to do your research. That family meaning The Rock, meaning Roman Reigns, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, the Tongans, who else? Lance Anawahi, Lloyd, LA Smooth, the entire family. If I'm forgetting somebody right now off the top, charge it to my head, not my heart. Man, the entire family. Zilla Fatu, who's not yet in the WWE, but he's a part of the legacy. That family is on the top of the pro wrestling world. And at the head of that, really, is the High Chief, Seuli, The Rock. It goes all the way back to The Rock's father, Soul Man Rocky Johnson, to The Rock's grandfather, the High Chief Peter Maivia, to the Wild Samoans, Afa and Sika. This goes all the way back. So if you really think about it, back then, when they were up and down the roads and doing shows for little to nothing, wrestling was not in the space it's in today. It's been the hard work and the foundation of that lineage to build what they have. And now they're at the top. So to go from that all the way to being on the top streaming service in the world, taking pro wrestling from just circuit television into streaming live on a weekly basis, you know how big that is? Coming into billions of dollars in a deal. You know how big that is? That's huge. And it was displayed last night. So I know that everybody that's involved in that family is extremely, extremely proud. And I just want to shout y'all out, man. So The Rock came out. The Rock came and, man, he delivered a passionate speech. He spoke to the crowd. He got the crowd ready. And the very first match was the Tribal Combat match. Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns for the owner of the Ulafala. The winner would be declared the Tribal Chief. Very first match. A lot of I saw people in the comments on Twitter and things questioning why is the first match. Why not? Why shouldn't it be? That was the biggest story being told throughout professional wrestling in the last 4 years. If you haven't been paying attention, the Bloodline was the biggest story ever told in the last 4 years in pro wrestling. Why not? Why not open the show and show everybody what you're getting? And they did not disappoint. It was a great match, back and forth. I'm not going to go through who won. You obviously see it in the comments and everything like that. Well, I'm not going to go through the match. I want you to go and look at the match. But it is being put out there, is being told the winner is the OTC, the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. It was great. And it was also great to see The Rock come back out and bestow the Ulafala on to Roman, declaring him the official and only Tribal Chief. And it wasn't in story. It was like in story, but it wasn't in story. And they had a moment in the ring, right, where they were looking at each other. And I know the casual fan or the regular fan were looking at it from a storyline aspect of, oh, what's gonna happen? Well, you know, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna turn on me? Is he gonna do this? But what you don't see what you don't see is that was a moment for them. That was a moment for them. That was a moment for their family. That was a moment that they can look back on because they just ushered in a new era for professional wrestling with their family being at the top. Like it, legacy. If those of you all that are in that value family and that value leaving something for your children, leaving a legacy, if you didn't look at that moment and see something great in that moment, I don't know what to tell you, but it was truly a phenomenal moment. Man, so there were stars and everything throughout the night. So many people came in. So many people came in from all over the globe to come and attend this particular show to see how the first night on Netflix was going to be. And I promise you all, it did not disappoint. Not one bit. Not one bit. I'm going to take this time real quick. Let the music play. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be right back with more. Right now, I'm going to play my new single with my partner. You see him at the bottom. This is Blaze Hunter featuring Mr. Cooper with Just Fine.
Blaze on the beat, by the way.
I'm independent, I can't sound too.
And you can see him doing just fine, just fine, just fine without you. Just fine, just fine, just fine, yeah. And you can see him doing just fine, just fine, just fine without you. Just fine, just fine, just fine without you.
Doing just fine like Mary J. I was fine before you, even better now, airway. Some be stressing every day, but they ain't me. I won't let no one dictate my happiness if they can leave. I don't need your likes or your views, no praying hands or condolences. I don't deal with the phoniness. With me, it ain't no bonuses. If they ain't rockin' with me, genuinely, you can fall back. Real talk, let me be, I ain't got time for all that. I be showing love, y'all ain't showing love back to me. Let me do the same, now y'all say I got audacity. It's easy to be bitter with you just cause you ain't choosing me, but trust me, I ain't losing
and you
sleep.
can see him doing just fine, just fine, just fine without you. Just fine, just fine, just fine, yeah. And you can see him doing just fine, just fine, just fine without you. Just fine, just fine, just fine without you. Yeah.
Get it away, get it away, get it away. Now I'm talking negativity. Keep it out my vicinity. Don't be cricket like Jiminy. And I don't see Geppetto. Ain't no strings on my emotions. I'm a steel ball like Mello. All I need is Elohim, my queen and my seed. My day ones, my G's, my music, my fitness. Gotta stimulate my mind. My coffee in the morning, my crush grapes at night. That's that wine. Here's a toast to my slime. Don't let them get you fed up. Don't let them take your peace with your style. Get your bread up. No matter what, keep your head up. Keep winning and let them know from the beginning.
You can see him doing just fine,
yeah.
Just fine, just fine without you. I'm just fine, just fine, just fine, yeah. And you can see him doing just fine, just fine, just fine without you. I'm just fine, just fine, just fine without you. Yeah.
Get it away, get it away, get it away now. Get it away, get it away, get it away, wait. Get it away, get it away, get it away now. Talking negativity, keep it out my vicinity.
I'm independent, I can't sound too.
All right. That was Just Fine by Blaze Hunter featuring yours truly. The two that you see, you know, right there at the bottom of the screen with Just Fine. It's streaming on every platform. Make sure y'all add it. Go ahead and add our song Just Fine to your playlist. It is an anthem. It is the anthem of 2025. letting the world know that you will be just fine. For those people that turned their back on you, for those people that didn't believe in you, for those people that doubted you, let them know you just fine without them. All right. So, continuing with the show, the next match was Rhea Ripley versus the Women's World Champion, Liv Morgan. That's right. And with that being said, I'm going to shout out my sponsor for this show again, Kayfabe Clothing. Let me let you get a look at the shirt. That's right. Kayfabe Clothing. Man, I believe in that match, they finished up their story. They've been telling a solid story for about a year now within that match. It was a great match, back and forth, and Mommy came out on top. Mommy, by the name of Rhea Ripley, is the new Women's World Champion. And listen, she's the total package right now. She's the total package for that brand. And I was thinking, I was like, with the run that Liv has had, this entire time, Liv has been going above and beyond, you know what I mean? Showing you all that she's a top contender, showing everyone that she deserved to be the Women's World Champion. Hell, she's the first crown jewel champion, you know what I'm saying? So it was good to see her carry that banner into this new era for Netflix. But let's just call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? If you're moving over to Netflix and they're showing the world this product, and you got eyes on this product for the first time, what better way to showcase a champion like Rhea Bloody Ripley? You know what I'm saying? It was dope. It was good. And then right at the end of the match, right when Rhea's on the way going back up, you hear the gong. What? You heard the gong. And we like, what? Is he here? Yes, he was. The Undertaker pulled up, y'all. And I ain't talking about dead man Undertaker. I'm talking about American Badass Undertaker. Mark pulled up. Pulled up on the motorcycle, rode around the ring, came back, and posed with the champ. They look cool as hell together. And I bet you that was a cool moment for Rhea. You know what I'm saying? So that was great. Netflix got to see a slash of nostalgia, a slash of our childhood. You know what I mean? Everybody loves The Undertaker. And The Undertaker got a huge pop. They loved it. They loved to see it. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope. Another thing that took place last night, John Cena, the franchise, the 16-time world champion, John Cena came back. He showed up, had the new merch on, letting everybody know that this is his last run. He's in retirement mode, so this was his last run. So he's letting the world know, and the world, I believe when John Cena hangs it up, when John Cena puts up the boots, there's going to be a lot of people out there crying. It's going to be grown men out there crying. There's going to be people, you know what I mean? It's going to be people that's going to be crying. Yeah, y'all can say what you want. You can say what you want. There's going to be some sad people out there. But him coming in and declaring himself for the Royal Rumble and declaring that, you know, I don't have the power to come in here and demand title shots and demand certain matches because of my record. My record hasn't been good since I've been back. So that's him showing and paying homage to the roster, paying respect to the roster, letting them know that, hey, look, I'm not trying to come in here and jump the line and take what you all have made and put. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to work it for this last time. And I'm going to work my hardest to try to get in this particular position on this last run. So it was good to see John Cena. It was good to see him come in. The next match that took place, if I'm not mistaken, was Drew McIntyre versus the Yeet Master himself, Jey Uso. That's right. Yeet. That's right. Jey Uso. And when I tell you, before then, this is the subject I want to talk about and I want to touch on real quick. Before Jey came out, they played Travis Scott's music. Travis Scott came out. Travis Scott came out to a thunderous crowd. But while Travis Scott was standing there, I saw something in his hand. I was like, I know this ain't what I think it is. Lo and behold, the camera panned out. The camera came back in. Travis pulled. He took it. He pulled a drag. And that was not a cigarette, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that had to be the first joint that I seen on WWE television and displayed. And this proved to me that we are definitely in the Netflix era. We on Netflix, guys. Oh, they was dropping F-bombs, S-bombs. They was cussing up a storm. They was going in. And I love every fucking piece of it. My partner asked me today. He said, how did you feel about seeing the first blunt being smoked on WWE television? And I'm all for it. PG era's done. Done. The people smoke weed. The people smoke weed. Like what? Come on. It's done. And you in Cali. It's legal. So to see it displayed on television, whether he got backlash about it, whether that's neither here nor there. I just thought it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool moment for all of my cannabis connoisseurs out there. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, he was there. And then right there for the entrance, the Yeet Master himself, Jey Uso, comes out. And when I tell you, listen, man, shouts out to Jey Uso. Jey Uso has completely turned his entire career around, due partly to the fact of him being utilized so highly within that bloodline story. His cousin helping to elevate him and everybody else that he's worked with, but Jey in particular, it was dope. It was dope. So to see all of that take place. Wait a minute. Now I'm gonna read this out loud because this is why I don't come on TikTok, guys. So I'm gonna read this out loud. It's displaying on my screen, and it's displaying, and here it is. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results because your live does not comply with the For You feed eligibility standards under our community guidelines. Reason: discussing drugs and other regulated substances. So I'm going to take a little time to speak to that. TikTok, look at me good. Hear me good. TikTok, you are full of shit. This entire fucking platform is full of shit. You allow so much bullshit to be displayed on this platform. You allow so much shit, from beat downs to sexual innuendo to all types of bullshit to be displayed on this. And I'm talking about somebody smoking weed, which is legal in most states. And you try to flag, you try to stop me, you try to put me in a small box so I won't be displayed and get my message out to those people that come and watch me. To those, you've already restricted me. You're already restricting my views. You're already doing these different things. And then you drop this on me in the middle of this lovely conversation about the business that I love. Respectfully and disrespectfully, TikTok, fuck you. Now back to what I was saying. Nah, man, they full of shit. Y'all see so much stuff on here. So much crap on here. Man, get the hell out of here with that bullshit. Anyway, like I said, y'all, the entire night was dope. Jey Uso has displayed he turned the crowd into loving a word that was made up by him, the family, and the whole time Yeet. And the way they displayed the camera work, the way the arena was, the way the camera was set up, that entire crowd was loving that part and that portion of the show. So he's loved and beloved all over the world. Him, Jimmy Uso, and Solo are the sons of one of the most profound and one of the most known pro wrestlers and Hall of Famers in the world, and that's Rikishi. And so they're natural born entertainers and they're natural born pro wrestlers. And so just to see the entire dynamic between Jey Uso and the fans, the Usos in itself. And I want to take this time to shout out Solo. I know Solo get a bad rap from the fans and all of that stuff, but I have to take this time to shout out Solo, because Solo coming into the game and being where he is right now, he has elevated his game. He has elevated his persona. He has elevated his bloodline. He has elevated everybody that he stepped in the ring with. And Solo is a top contender in the world. And I do believe Solo should be the world champion, if not the WWE champion, within the next 2 years. That's just my opinion and my prediction. But back to the match at hand. It was Jey Uso versus the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre, which, in my opinion, Drew is at the top of his game and is really running the game. And I love the story that they're telling with this. They're kind of slow playing it, especially with what happened in the main event. So I'm going to call that out towards the end. But they slow played it, man. The storytelling and the story that Drew is telling is he is going after any and everybody that has either worked with or helped the bloodline. He's going after them. You know what I'm saying? Same with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is doing the same thing. So you see a correlation between the two. But I'm not going to go through what happened in the matches. You go see for yourself. It's on Netflix. So you make sure you go and recap and watch them. But I will tell you that Jay came out on top. Won't tell you how. You go and watch it. But I thought it was just good how Jay came out and won the match. Great match. Then we got to a certain point, because again there were lots of things going on in the backstage area. The New Day just rising in their heelish persona. Kofi and Xavier just becoming the most hated people in the company because of what they said and what they did about Big E. But then we get to the funniest part of the night, the part that I took a lot of glee. Matter of fact, shouts out to the Glees. That's a part of my wife's family. I took glee in that. It was so fucking funny to me. Fucking Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan music plays. And then you got Jimmy Hart coming out. with the flag, waving the American flag, and Hulk Hogan comes out and I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Yeah, all the shouts out to the one and only Diggy Amari 84 in the bit. Hey Diggy, just like I told Santino, if y'all boys available directly after this podcast, you already know what it is. Call of Duty. Anyway, so he comes out. Let me tell you something, brother. The fucking crowd booed the shit out of him. I'm talking about drowning out the arena in boos. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. And I'm going to tell you why. Why? Will allow me to retort. This man couldn't, that's right, baby. He couldn't even finish his words. They was booing the shit out of him. Now, there could be a lot of reasons why, they could boo him. But I'm just going to point out a couple. Actually, I'm going to point out something outside of that. You notice he was wearing a Real American Beer shirt. Him or Jimmy Hart. One of them was wearing a Real American Beer shirt. And so from the looks of it, it looks like WWE formed a partnership with him to promote his new beverage, Real American Beer. So they feel like it was a good way for him to come and promote the company. But what they didn't think about, what they didn't really count on, was the fact that people don't fucking like Hulk Hogan. This don't have nothing to do with when he was actually wrestling and then he turned heel and was a part of the NWO and all of that stuff. This has nothing to do with wrestling, no kayfabe, no nothing. People genuinely don't like that motherfucker. Couple reasons. I'll just say it. Hey, he was involved in a case. He was involved in a case that was going on, and in this case, it was he was caught on camera sleeping with his so-called best friend's wife, and there was some things being recorded back then on his feelings about his daughter being involved with black men and him not liking that shit, and that got out to the world, and so it showed his true colors amongst his peers within the industry of melanated complexion. And so really on some real shit, the condemnation and the topic around him is he's a racist piece of shit. That's what people feel. That's how they feel. I don't know the man personally, so I can't really call it. You can only go by what you see and what you hear from other people. Until you know for yourself, you never know. You know what I mean? But the other reason why he got booed, which WWE should have put some goddamn thought into it. Hello, this motherfucker was really on the campaign trail for Trump. Shouts out to Trump, by the way. If y'all not a Trump supporter, y'all don't like Trump, that's on y'all. But whatever. But he was a Trump supporter, but he was going OD. He was going overboard with the Trump shit. Ripping off the shirt at the convention, talking shit about Kamala. I'm gonna call her Kamala because there was a wrestler called Kamala. I know you call her Kamala, but Kamala. I'm gonna play off the words. Anyway, but hello, you was in LA. You was in Southern California. Whose territory is that? That's Kamala's. That's her state. The majority of people that's in that state were Democrats. So it was an entire political thing that just took place with those boos. People didn't forget. The shit just happened. So people were booing the hell out that motherfucker. And he was out there, had the little walking like he, about to bust his ass. He tried to do the little ear shit, and you see him stepping, and he was looking like he was about to. And he tried to get at let me tell you something, brother. You know, I'm so happy to be a part of, you know, my partnership with WWE, brother. And people was like, boo, get the fuck out of here, boo, take your ass back to where you from, boo. They was not with that shit. That shit was funny as hell to me. And here it go, y'all. That boy was, he was, he was rushing through them words because he realized right then and there, oh, they not fucking with me. Oh, well, let's go on. Let's hurry up and get the man. If y'all go back and watch that shit, if they haven't doctored it or did anything, y'all go back and watch how fast his limping ass got up out of there. I know once he got to the back, everybody was looking at that bitch like, man, that shit is everywhere. If they cut it, just know that it's on TikTok. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. Y'all can go and see that shit. So, man, I just thought that was the funniest part of the night. Hey, Diggy, I just talked about that, bro. I just talked about, and then TikTok want to try to flag me and restrict me from being seen on the For You page and all of that shit just because I mentioned that. TikTok was out of line. But yeah, that was the first one ever. That was the first one ever done, ever toked on a professional wrestling show at this magnitude. You know, I know RVD, he's an avid cannabis connoisseur, you know what I'm saying? So back in the ECW days, he was toking like it wasn't nothing, whether the camera's in front of him or not. But at this level, with WWE being on Netflix and it being Netflix, them being in LA, and him standing out there in that position and talking like that, that was legendary. More people need to talk about that. That was a legendary moment, especially my cannabis connoisseurs out there. That was legendary. So we get to the main event. The main event of the night was between Seth freaking Rollins, the visionary, the revolutionary, Seth freaking Rollins, versus the best in the world, CM Punk. And the match was what I expected it to be. The match was great. The display of athleticism between them and a 46-year-old CM Punk, which, truth be told, the matches that CM Punk has had since he's been back has been extraordinary. He's had great matches since he's been back in WWE, way better matches than he had since he came back when he was in the other company in AEW. As a matter of fact, as far as being in shape, he looks better than he did in AEW. You know? And so it was a clash. The story tells itself. And the one thing I like that WWE did was they prepared the small vignettes before each match to let the casual fan know and the other fans know that this is why you're seeing this. This is why you're seeing this match. This is what led up to this match. This is what's going on. So it was just dope. It was dope to see. As for those of you that aren't fans, you got to witness. Okay, well, this is why these two are in the ring. This is why they're wrestling. This is why they're doing this. So I just like how they had that prepared because like I said, with them being on Netflix, they're getting into millions upon millions of eyes that probably aren't into wrestling or never been into wrestling. Two, that probably was into wrestling back then and then they let it go and then now trying to find their way back, and so they're trying to get caught up with what's the stories, you know. So it was just dope to see. The end of the match was great. The ending was awesome. But one thing I want to focus on that ending, CM Punk did come out on top. Spoiler alert for everything. CM Punk did come out on top in that match, but I want you all to take a look at Seth Rollins' face when that happened. Seth Rollins had a look of disappointment on his face, a look of disgust, a look of disappointment. And I want you all to watch how the stories are weaved, right? You got Kevin Owens pissed at everybody that's still trying to help Roman Reigns, which is why he interfered in the Roman match. I didn't mention that. He interfered in the Roman match. And then you have Drew McIntyre, who got beat. Then you have Drew McIntyre, who got beat. And man, you saw the disappointment in his face, right? Then you have Seth Rollins, who got beat by someone that most recently helped Roman Reigns in CM Punk. I'd be interested to watch how those three individuals act within these next few months. I believe that they're going to form some kind of super group to kind of help take out Roman and whoever else is, aligned with Roman. So mark my words, I'm saying it here. Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins. Be on the lookout for how that story pans out. But ultimately, at the end of the night, it was a great night. It was a great first night for Monday Night Raw. Now Monday Night Raw is officially a part of the Netflix era, and officially Monday Night Raw is about to change the game. Pro wrestling as a whole, WWE, Netflix. It's a match made in heaven. So, again, thank you all for taking the time to pull up to this PWC with Mr. Cooper. On behalf of my partner, Blaze Hunter, both of us, the representatives of the most prestigious network in the land, the Signature Series Network, we are the Pro Wrestling Connoisseurs. Be sure to be on the lookout for the Pro Wrestling Connoisseurs podcast. Be on the lookout for more that's coming up. We will be in the building for Cruising with a Bruising. BRCW, January 29th. I do believe it's the 29th. Don't hold me. I'll go back. If I got it wrong, I'll go back. I'll recheck. But, man, we will be live in the building. That is a super card. Understand me? It's a super card. I'm going to be promoting it on the TikTok. It's a super card. So make sure y'all come through. I want to shout out again my sponsor for this particular show, Kayfabe Clothing. Listen, the merch is merching. Hear me. Yeah. The merch is merching. Shout out to Kayfabe Clothing. You dig. Listen, this has been PWC with Mr. Cooper, one half of the Pro Wrestling Connoisseurs. WWE on Netflix is here. This is the Netflix era. Listen, pro wrestling is in the B's, y'all. B's meaning billions. Listen, it's the top. I don't give a damn about the NBA. I don't give a damn about the NFL. I don't give a damn about the MLB. I don't care about none of that shit. But pro wrestling, I'm there for it. I'm watching it. I'm on. All right? I am the one and only Mr. Cooper. I appreciate y'all for pulling up. Deuces.